Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare two laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello race fans and welcome to the Apex Racing League GT Trophy live from Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari, or Imola if you prefer. My name is Peter Mackay and joining me in the commentary box this evening on Apex Racing TV is Sam Fitzpatrick with our producer Dennis Branch bringing you the images and graphics from a virtual Imola circuit. Sam, we've had a very much an up and down season, but one of the constant things has been the pace of a certain Kenny Rosens, but the championship order tells quite a different story.
It does a little bit at the moment. He's had a couple of sketchy rounds, Bonza, where he took pole position by a country mile and then didn't have the best race and also missed a race as well. However, in this, the third to final meeting of the season, the championships are still open, both the professional and the amateur. And, well, with the championship leader Gaten Anger not having a great round last time out, it maybe could change once again.
Indeed it could. So at the moment, Gaten Anger on 218 points, just 22 points ahead of Sven Newman for Core Sim Racing. Kenny Rosens, the man we just mentioned for BMW, definitely the quickest driver over one lap, but currently sits on 189 points. Maxime Mariotte is the leader of the Porsches at the moment for Fiercely Forward Racing, with Carl Winkler rounding out the top five as things stand. In the AM class, well, it's Juan Manuel Calleja, who's really been the guy who's delivered on a consistent basis. Jason Hodgson sitting in second with Alain Carigier in third, Phil Reagan in fourth, and Dave Erden rounds out your top 5 there. Now, of course, Gaten Anger, a little bit of an outlier in the leading drivers in the Pro class, Sam, because he drives a Lamborghini Huracan, whereas all of his rivals are aboard what has been really quite a dominant machine, the BMW M4. But if he's going to win anywhere, why not here at Imola, in the home of Lamborghini?
Definitely, and of course the characteristics of this circuit should fancy the Lamborghini a little bit more. We have got that long straight, so it will be tricky for the lower straight line speed cars to make too many moves. But no, it should be pretty good for the Italian cars, I think, around this place. And yeah, not as dominant as, say, Red Bull Ring, where we visited a few weeks ago, and maybe a bit more similar to Brands Hatch, where we visited 2 weeks ago before the 1 week break last time out. The drivers currently in a 10-minute qualifying session. They're all by themselves out on circuit. They can set 4 lap times in this qualifying session, and the first one's just starting now. That 4 laps should just take them to the 10 minutes, so they've got to get a move on out there, and they don't want to crash the car, otherwise you're going to spend or waste some time going on another outlap. So important they keep their cars all in one piece.
Indeed, yes, that is very, very true. And in order to get all of those 4 laps, it does require a perfect run from pit out to pit in. So let's see who's got the pace here at Imola, heading into the business end of the championship at the moment. Just a couple of rounds to go, and Gaten Anger, of course, the defending champion, and a good result today could really strengthen that title defense. The other thing that I always find is a little bit tricky here, Sam, is the track limits. It's Imola has unfortunately a bit of a notorious reputation because of incidents that happened quite some time ago. The track has changed a lot. It is modernized a lot, and part of that modernization is tarmac runoff, and therefore the inevitable argument about track limits abuse comes up. But here on the iRacing platform, this is a circuit where you don't have to step far over, and the system will null and void your qualifying lap.
Yeah, and it's really tricky to tell where those limits are, because around many of the corners, around maybe Piratella, around Variante Alta, there's no curb on the outside. I mean, it's painted on, but you don't even feel it in the car when you go over. So it's just that experience to know how far you can go. Even around Tosa, where we've just seen the Lamborghini go around, even there you can pick up a 1x. So it is a bit of a pain for the drivers, and it would be nice if maybe iRacing implemented some sausage curbs or something. Wouldn't be super realistic, but these curbs are fairly dated anyway. But that is something that the drivers are going to have to watch out for. And of course, at least unlike in real life, they'll know the drivers immediately when they have picked one up, and of course we'll have to have that lap time invalidated. And of course 16 incidents is the limit for the drivers come the race, which can be fairly tricky to stay within in a 1 hour long race like we have got tonight. After the first times though, it's Reasons up at the top and Anger in second place. And of course, it's almost surprising, he's the championship leader, Peter, but I don't expect Gaten to be anywhere near the top, honestly, in qualifying. He qualifies probably average position of maybe 5th or 6th, honestly, usually much faster in the races, but well, that's a very strong lap time for him, despite it being only the first lap.
Very strong indeed, yes. 141, goodness me, that is quick in a GT3 car around this Imola circuit. All GT3 cars here in the Apex Racing League GT Trophy. So these machines from Porsche, Ferrari, BMW, Audi, etc., they have ABS systems, anti-lock braking, they have traction control, and they have very sophisticated aerodynamic work as well. So they're very, very high performance machines, but with that little bit more of a safety net built in than their cousins, the GTE cars have.
Yes, yeah, they are a tad different. I mean, it's still super fun though to drive these GT3 cars around this circuit. Can really kind of tackle the curbs. Got to leave a little bit of space, but can still deal with them pretty well. Luke McCowan, who made his debut, I believe, for the season back at Brands Hatch and took pole position. Was very strong. Unfortunately, didn't have a very good race. But that is 3/10 clear. That is big. And interestingly, McCohen going back to the pits after that second lap. So he wants to set a fresh set of tyres and then go another lap. So that will waste a lap for him. He'll only be able to do 3 laps rather than 4 laps, but of course he'll have fresher tyres for that last lap.
Very clever strategy, actually. Yes, a high risk, mind you. If you mess your laps up, you're putting yourself under a lot of pressure. But yeah, very interesting indeed. And McCohen, of course, putting it on pole at the moment in a Porsche as well. But I don't think, since its arrival here on the iRacing platform, I don't think we've seen a pole position for the Porsche 911 GT3R in Apex Racing League GT Trophy competition. Will it stay that way? Well, Kenny Rosens in the BMW will be wanting will be hoping so, as will Gaten Anger in the Lamborghini Huracan. And already looking like, Sam, we're going to see a bit more of a split of manufacturers up the top, which is nice.
Yeah, it's currently Porsche, BMW, and then 3 Lambos, and then back to the BMW. So yeah, that's a few different manufacturers up in the top 7, which is what we want to see: 3 BMWs, 3 Porsches, and 3 Lambos, and 1 Porsche. As Ruzens back to the pits, that'll be the end of his session because it's a 1:40 lap, and so he would have to do an outlap and a second lap, and he has not got time to do that because you've got to get your flying lap in before the 10 minutes is out. So that is the end of the Belgians qualifying. Might be a little bit disappointed with that one. It does leave him vulnerable to Anger throughout qualify him, and with the gap that exists between the two of them in the championship, Ruzens absolutely has to beat Anger tonight in order to keep his championship hopes alive, as Smith crosses the line, goes up to 5th place, so that's a good time for him. And yeah, most of the front runners kind of midway around there. That's Mark Fletcher's just approaching the line at the moment. Actually, is he able to improve? Winkler goes up to 5th position. Fletcher wasn't able to improve. Dadswell was able to improve, though. He moves into the top 10.
Good stuff there from Tom Dadswell, up into the top 10. Very good. And well, we've got 60 minutes of racing, which does require intense concentration here at Imola. It's a very tricky circuit and easy to get yourself into a bit of trouble, especially perilous in the opening lap when the tyres are cold and there's a lot of drivers around. But spare a thought for Brian Redman, who won, one of the greatest British racing drivers in my view. He won the Imola 500 kilometres in 1970 in a Porsche 917, which really one of the most fearsome racing cars ever built. But what was more impressive was that he did it on his own. Can you imagine racing 500 kilometres in a Porsche 917 on your own and winning?
Yeah, it must be, what, 4 hours? 4 hours?
Oh, yeah, something like that, yeah.
As Anger goes up in 2nd place, I mean, and as the circuit was back then, you gotta have guts to do 1 lap. Let's alone however many laps that is, a couple of hundred. So, no, that is... that's pretty gutsy. Part of me does kind of wish, as Poulet moves to 4th position, which iRacing recreated the old circuits of this place. I mean, come on, we got this scan, but you know, just modify a little bit. We got the old Monza using the run-up areas. It'd be cool if we had the old-fashioned first part of the lap to regenerate some speeds. That would be pretty cool. However, of course, the track modifications are pretty good around this place, because they did open up Acqua Minerale a couple of decades ago, as well as Fletcher does improve on his last lap. Just got 15 seconds more, and this man, Manuel Carrera, top of the championship at the moment. Is he able to beat his arch nemesis Karagiet at the line? No, that was an outlap. Wasn't even a proper lap. So there you go. Finishes in 2nd place in the amateur category.
By just under a 1/10 of a second as well. Oh, well, he will start on the AM class front row, so that's good. So Luke McCohen puts it on pole position for Porsche here at Imola alongside Gaten Anger. So no BMWs on the front row for the first time. Kenny Rosens and Jonathan Poulet will start on row 2, with Sven Newman and Mark Fletcher making up the 3rd row. Carl Winkler, Stefani Nikolaevic, Richard Gavenku and Dominic Engel round out the top 10, with Hakan Grevstad and Tom Dadswell rounding out row 6. Maxime Marriott will start from 13th, followed by Brandon Tabone, Leon Penn, Corentin Collignon, Mick Palich, Kieran Smart, Oyston Hereford and Anders Ankerson rounds out the top 20. Callum Brandt will start from 21st alongside Tim Perry on row 11, with Alain Caragier putting it on pole position in the AM class and 23rd overall. Juan Manuel Calleja will start alongside him on row 12. Aaron Smith will start from 25th, followed by Josh Wiggins, Jason Hodgson, Dave Erden, Fernando Torres and Angel Pedrero round out the first 30 starters. Phil Reagan will start from 31st, followed by Paul Robson, Gavin Russell, JB Rasmussen, Yuri Pepin Evers, and Andrew Brema on the other side of row 18. And the last few who did not set a time, Amaury Bonduel, Nolan Lemery, Leandro Andaruti, Dan Murray, and Steve Brown. And Amaury Bonduel, Sam, a man with a lot of pace and a lot of cars to get through and a lot of inevitable carnage to avoid as well.
Yeah, and Lemery as well, who of course led for most of the race at Red Bull Ring, starting all the way back there. So both of them should be very strong. Just a word as well. I'm a man who has he finds satisfaction in some things, and the fact that the top 22 drivers are all pros, and the next 14 are all AMs, which perfectly divides the drivers out of those who did qualifying. That's fantastic. The timing tire is absolutely good looking right now. So just a shout out to the admins there for dividing the classes up very well.
Let's not get into the dubiety of your pro or AM status or otherwise, Sam, in the Porsche Cup. Well, we're rolling, and Luke McCohen will lead us away in the Porsche 911 GT3R. Quite a lot of slow corners here at Imola. And that drive grip of that rear engine layout definitely working well so far. But he'll have to hold off Gaten Anger in the early stages. Who's going to take it here at Imola? They've been racing here since 1952. Who will win here in the modern era of this circuit? Luke McCohen holding on to the field right to the last minute. But green. We are racing at Imola. Perfect getaway for Luke McCohen with Gaten Anger right behind in the Lamborghini. Down towards Tamburello they go. Kenny Rosen's duking for position in the big BMW into the hard braking zone on cold brakes, cold tyres. But the first few get through cleanly. All the drivers taking extra care to get through. And that's great respect from the leading drivers. Whoop! Because one driver off on the exit of Tamburello, but rejoining safely. Remarkably clean there, Sam.
That's good. Thank you going up the circuit. I don't know how the top 5 got through the first chicane, let alone the top 20. So great driving. Miracles really do happen. There was a driver off as well. I think Torres just having a bit of an issue through the Villeneuve chicane and some rather swift darts from one side of the circuit to the other as well. That's a bit deep for the Porsche of Marriott there. Nearly went into the back of Tabone. And now Paluch is trying to take advantage of this one. Paluch up the inside, and Marriott may be suffering from those cold tyres that you were mentioning, Peter. Really struggling to get the car turned in for Acqua Minerale. Still Caragier leading the way in the amateur category. In fact, there's been very few changes in this one. Full stop for Aaron Smith. That's probably the most significant one in the amateurs. He's down 2 places from 3rd on the grid down to 5th. But yeah, very few drivers having very problematic starts initially.
Incredible lack of attrition on the opening lap. Really top marks to all the drivers. I've seen some pretty chaotic pile-ups at Tamburello here on the iRacing platform, and great job from all our Apex Racing League GT Trophy drivers. But McCohen leads over the line on lap 1, but looking at Gaten Anger has got a great drive, got a great draft on McCohen. Is he going to have a look? Kenny Rosens is. Kenny Rosens is going to pick Gaten Anger's pocket. I don't think he was expecting that. So Rosens hits the 2nd place, and McCohen sees it in his mirror thinking, oh, I better get out of here before the big man in the BMW hunts me down.
Yeah, that was a good effort there from Rosens, really showing that the strengths of the BMW, being able to almost mug Anger right there. And yeah, McKern will do very well to keep behind Reasons. As long as Reasons just stays close around this part of the track. We've got a spinner up, and that could be very dangerous as he skids across Tosa. Could even be a roadblock there. Anger's had significant problems. So we've got a couple of different incidents going on at the moment. I think it was Tabone who went off in the first place. But somehow, a bunch of drivers didn't get involved. Brant did have a problem. And now Reasons is off the circuit. I do not know what has just happened to the front runners. But both Reasons and Anger have both had dreadful moments there. Reasons down to 7th, but where's Anger? I think he...
5th. Oh, there's something going on there. I mean, I'm not a detective, but I think something has happened there. Well, that's dreamland for Luke McCohen. This is his opportunity to break away. Already a 2.6 second advantage. Here's our replay. We're going to see what's happened. So, Gaten Anger behind in the Lamborghini. Kenny Rosen's ahead in the BMW. Through Villeneuve they go. All clean and tidy. Is it going to be at Tosa?
Slow down.
Bizarre. So, Gaten Anger gets a slowdown for running wide, but then what happens to Rosen's? I'm perplexed. So
yeah, just as the doors open for Reasons, he firmly shut them again. That was must have messed up at Piotel. Look at that. That's Anger getting very close. Fletcher's up into 2nd position then, and Anger trying to take some advantage of this. He's just got past his teammate Poulet, I believe, who's had a poor couple of corners. And yeah, of course, Reasons, look how close these drivers are. There's absolutely mega. 4 seconds now is the gap to McCohen, but Fletcher's up 4 places now from his start as Anger sticks it up the inside of Newman, who's 2nd place in the championship. Remember Newman. He's not happy with that one, but Gaten back to 3rd position. So crazy first few laps at the moment. And look at Reasons nipping his way through as well, past Poulet there. So he's now right onto the back of him. So we've now got 1st, 2nd and 3rd in the championship in 3rd, 4th and 5th on track.
Wow, what an interesting start to this race. And Gaten Anger must be kicking himself for that as well. What an opportunity gone begging. And also, you could argue as well, what an opportunity gone begging so far, excuse me, for Kenny Rosens, because he needs to get points back on Anger and indeed on Sven Newman as well in 2nd place. So dramatic start, and I have to say, Luke McCohen, he has taken full advantage of this twist of fate, really. 4.4 seconds the gap from McCohen back to Fletcher. Gaten Anger now back up to 3rd, so recovering, but those 4 seconds, it's been so tight all season, Sam. There's never been, no one's driven away with the race. It's certainly not until the 2nd half anyway. And this is dreamland for McCohen.
Yeah, well, it's a big question now is can he hold on to it, because I think when they're all bunched together, he was looking very vulnerable, but now he can kind of use that pace that he showed in qualifying and find some rhythm, get the tyres up to temperature as well. And he might be able to maintain that gap all the way to the end of the race. We'll have to wait and see. That is brave, and that is over the curbs. And Kaea off the track, championship leader.
No fault
How
of his
much
own.
damage has he got there? And that was that Anderuti who collided with him on that occasion, going for the ambitious move at Tamburello chicane. Real tricky to get past with the threatening curbs. Now we've got another car off. And that was Reagan and Pedrero who collided.
Dear oh dear. Well, Juan Manuel Calleja, he leads the AM Championship through pure... it's Aaron Smith. Okay, so Aaron Smith makes a mistake. Watch from hit the curb here. Boom, gets straight over it and then just T-bones the side of Calleja, who's doing nothing wrong. And Aaron Smith takes about 3 cars with him. A completely honest mistake. There was no malice there, Sam, but talk about collateral damage.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the other pro drivers initially. I thought it was Anderuti, but Anderuti was actually that first car to come across Smith. So that is very unfortunate. That was kind of what we were expecting to see on lap 1. How no one did that on lap 1, I don't know, because you got 40 drivers all in the exact same situation that Smith was in, and all of them much more bunched together. But we somehow avoided it on that occasion, but not on this occasion.
Hopefully, yes. It's, Mark Fletcher now under huge pressure from Gaten Anger, and Anger makes it look pretty straightforward there. And Anger goes by. Rosen's in 4th now as well. Now, This is where champions are made. Gate and Anger, second, it sounds ridiculous, second place would do for Gate and Anger. He doesn't necessarily need to win this race. And this is how he's won all of his championships. Well, he's won the last championship, and this is why he's leading this championship, because he's taken the maximum out of every situation. And yes, a small mistake to begin with, but Sam McCone's not in the championship fight. He came into the series about halfway through, so he doesn't need to worry, as we've got another couple of Lamborghinis off. Goodness me, Lamborghinis at Tamburello all over the place. And yeah, so this is what Anger needs to do. He's not in a hurry, but Rosen certainly is.
Yeah, Rosen's, like I said earlier on, has to beat him tonight realistically, and get a few cars between him and the next place driver. I think that was Smith on that occasion, actually avoiding those two drivers. He did a very good job of getting out of the way after having kind of causing the collision on the previous lap. He did a good job of making it not any worse there, but that was Evers and one of the other drivers with a problem. Sven Newman had a problem. He's down to 20th position. Newman was up in the top 5 earlier on, so I'm not sure if Dennis might be able to find exactly what happened there. Must have happened a couple of laps for Newman. Geez, we're only 8 minutes into the race. You know, we sometimes have this much action in an entire hour-long race. And, yeah, we've barely reached the 8th the way part. Here is Newman then. So this was battling with Rusens then. Rusens got past and then heading into Acqua Minerale. This can't end well. Well, that's a bit of an easy answer because we know it doesn't end well. And Newman cannot get back onto track, and the grass is so slippery and loses control.
It's a tiny patch of grass. You could barely hit a golf ball off that piece of grass. Goodness. That is really unlucky, and that could be pivotal for Sven Newman's championship charge. Because now we've dropped right back into the heat of the pack, where we've seen a number of incidents once the race has got going. Bizarre, we didn't see any at the start, but then all of a sudden they just kicked off a few laps later. Well, a dramatic 10 minutes to start here at Imola. And this historic venue, brilliant to have it immortalised in the virtual world, and great to see it making a renaissance in contemporary motorsport as well with Formula 1. It has been used by the World Superbike Championship for a number of years now, and quite successfully. But first Grand Prix was back all the way in 1963, won by Jim Clark, hence why I mention it, a Scotsman winning. We don't win much, so we have to say so. But would you believe, Sam, that bearing in mind that this circuit is called for Enzo Edino Ferrari, there were no Ferraris in the first Grand Prix here?
Ah, that is... sorry, what year was it again?
1963.
1963. That is odd. That is odd. And of course, this was like a Ferrari as Pilio came past. Oh, so Fletcher's had a poor lap there. Fletcher, did he pick up a slowdown? Yeah, I think Fletcher picked up a slowdown, the Valiente Alta, and then had to slow it for the rest of the lap. He's trying to come back again. This isn't really worth it, guys. Poulet does remain ahead there. But yeah, this place, I'm not sure if it still is, but it did become a kind of Ferrari test track where they did a lot of driving around this place. When did that happen? Clearly not at the start.
Well, it was named Autodromo Dino Ferrari in 1970, which of course was Enzo Ferrari's son, who died very prematurely of leukemia. But Enzo's name was added to it when he passed away in 1988. So I wonder when that was, Sam. But I guess if Ferrari turn up here, I doubt they get turned away many places in Italy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, if they want to drive around my village, I will let them off. They can do that if they so wish, if they want to turn up.
Let them park the trailer in the farm.
Yeah, exactly. We got a lot of
not in lambing season,
a lot of grass here. Oh, Winkler's crashed. Oh no, well he hasn't crashed, he's just spun. Now he's done that one. Valiente Alta. Get a slowdown for that, but the least of his worries was in. Sorry, that's Nikola Jovic. But there was another. It was Winkler and Nikola Jovic then, so I think that was the battle for 7th and 8th, and they collided with one another.
Well, another fastest lap of the race for Luke McCohen, 141.5, 0.4 of a second quicker than Gate and Anger last time by, and 0.2 of a second quicker than Rosen's. And That's Rosen on personal best pace as well. So Luke McCohen is just in the groove here from pole position. With way confidently, and Anger and Rosens have dropped off the scent on their own merit, but McCohen really sticking the boot in here, and McCohen can now decide exactly what kind of pit strategy he wants to play, Sam. He's got complete free rein, whereas if he was stuck in traffic, he'd maybe be forced down a particular avenue.
Yeah, he's where he wants to be, and of course Anger's not getting any draft either. Reasons will be getting a little bit, but Anger will be getting barely any, so there's really no strategic advantage at all for Anger. He's got to watch out for reasons as well and cover check position, so no, this is excellent for McCohen right now. As Torres just moving up to 6th position in the amateurs. That's all game very tasty again. So Nikola Jovic back up to 9th position. He's overtaken Engel again. Lost 4 seconds on that last lap, did Nikola Jovic, due to the issue heading into this corner, Variante Alta. In my opinion, by far the worst corner on this circuit. It would be lovely if they got rid of it. But it's quite funny seeing the cars hop over the curves at least.
Yeah, it's a very tricky corner, but it is satisfying if you do get it right. And I do like a carb launch as well. Although the of course at Knock Hill, where it's got a very much a feature chicane, uphill chicane, blind entry, and Gordon Shedden, 3-time British touring car champion, always says if you're getting the wheel off the air there, you're wasting time. Looks good though.
Always managed to get in a Scottish drive around Scottish circuit.
I've done 2
without fail
already.
Oh no, Torres has just gone up to 6th position, but now he's gone off. And Eva isn't having a good time. But maybe next lap, if we go to the static cameras, the drivers are going over the Variante Alta. We might see quite a cool camera angle, which would be cool to see, to show off the cars relaunching themselves over there. Colin Yon, I mean, this is a great pass through right now. Probably won't happen for the entire race. Usually, something breaks up these types of fights. And that's a mistake from one of the drivers. Oh, that's a nudge. They're lucky not to get spun around there. Marriott's really been in the wars tonight. Honestly, he was nearly collided with someone else into Piratella Aleron actually on lap 1. Managed to avoid it. That time he definitely did give a little bit of a shove, but they all get through nice and happy.
And just like that, we're at quarter distance already. So a mandatory pit stop required here in the Apex Racing League GT Trophy. The drivers have a 60% fuel cell limit. So what does that mean? Roughly about 40 minutes-ish on a tank, maybe slightly less. So we shouldn't be too long before we're in at the beginnings of the pit window, maybe 2 or 3 more laps, and the drivers can start to think about making their stops if they wish. And just trying to think, is there any drivers that appear to be stuck in traffic at the moment, Sam, who may want to get out of it and get their pit stop out of the way and try and get a bit of clean air to lay down the quick laps?
Well, Colin Yon may have been one of them, but he's just got up ahead of there of Dominic Engel. Oh, Engel's going to have a good exit though. Colin Yon was slightly out of line. Villeneuve's very tricky to overtake, and yeah, he just put the car in the middle of the circuit, and really there's nothing that the opposing driver can do. Maybe Winkler, because he dropped down earlier on after that incident. Oh, that's a brave move again, Marriott. He's making no friends out there whatsoever. He's gone for it again, but it hasn't worked again for him. Shame.
Marriott,
but yeah, I think
one of them
might be a good shout in, and Newman as well.
Newman definitely, for sure, yes. And he maybe got 1 or 2 scars on the car, possibly, I don't know. But I think Marriott could be going a lot faster, but he's just in an absolute punch-up at the moment. And yeah, he'll be going, I reckon, a second or so slower than he would in clean air, as might many of these drivers in this mid-pack, which is full of Porsches. The Porsche 911 GT3R, of course, a recent addition to the iRacing service, and unfortunately no wins this weekend at the Nürburgring. That went double trouble to to BMW, not with their M4, with their old M6. M4's not ready yet, but the M6 still in winning form. And I was wondering, Sam, if you go to the BMW board meeting on a Monday morning and they say, "Oh, great, we won at the Nürburgring twice at the weekend, and that's 3 in a row now," and they'll say, "Oh, great, that new car's going well." I say, "Well, no, it's not ready yet. That's the old one." You can imagine the finance director saying, "Well, what have we signed off this new car from? The old one's fine."
Yeah. It looks nice though. I don't know if that would maybe convince them. I do like the look of this M4. Ooh, Fletcher!
Ooh.
No, what have you done, Mark? It's off for Altitude Esports. Maybe his head in the clouds before he made that mistake. I don't even know what that means. That was bad. Sorry about that. Much better stuff.
That was good. I was going to go with light-headed, but yeah, I think yours was more literal, more easy to picture. He's peaked. He's long peaked.
There you go. Yeah.
He's on his descent.
Maybe getting vertigo from how far up the order he is.
Sorry, I missed that, Sam. Too busy telling my own joke. That was.
He's getting vertigo because he's so far up the order.
Oh, good. Yes, very good. I like that. So I've run out. I've run out. That's the only reason for moving on. That's the only reason I think of. Well, the Hakan Grebstad's had a good start to the day in his Porsche. And it seems like the Weissach machines, that I think it's definitely that rear engine layout, Sam. 4-litre flat 6 right in the back of the car. Gives great traction. Gets lots of weight over the driven wheels. And there is a lot of slow corners here at Imola.
Yeah, from this one board, it seems pretty quick down the straights as well. He was making loads of time up on Fletcher. We do know that Lamborghini is probably the slowest car down the straight, and maybe Fletcher's got damage, but that was very strong for Grebstad. All he needs to do is get fairly close coming out the final corner, and he'll be easy past. I think done that long French stretch, long French curve. But no, it's great to see the Porsche doing so well. It's pretty crazy that these 3 cars that we're watching, the Lambo, the Porsche, and the BMW weren't even on the iRacing service, 8 months ago? And very much become accustomed to them in the months since.
Indeed, we've in our very much amateur efforts, we've done some mileage in the Lambo, haven't we, Sam? We've had some top split. I think, what was it, 7th we came in Watkins Glen in the top split.
Yeah, less mileage than we planned, I will say. Daytona wasn't good. But, no. Well, we need to get back to it, don't we? I mean, we're not going to be able to do Spa, unfortunately, but maybe
we need to break Derek out of the garage.
Yeah.
Derek the Porsche. We're going to get a telling off, Sam. I think I can tell. Good to see Kieran Smart out there as well, the LMP2 AM champion in the Wave Italy Prototype Championship. What is now, it's amazing to say that the Audi is an alternative choice now, Sam, because there was a time where it was the choice. It's funny how the balance of performance formula, it swings back and forth, and there's always a car that appears to be in more favour than the other. The Audi's had its day in the sun. Will it come back again?
Yeah, it's. I think iRacing like to maybe boost the newer cars a little bit more than the older ones, which I can't. Maybe that's an alright thing to do, I guess. But no, I think just a matter of time till the BAP maybe favours it a little bit better. So of course, Smart's a prototypes champion, and so too the man behind him, Tim Perry, a prototypes champion as well. In fact, those two battle for the last season title, with Smart's just about coming out on top. So 2 quality drivers there, down 19th and 20th, just showing the quality of the racing out there, the quality of the competition. By the way, quick shout out to SDK Gaming for providing the fantastic overlay we have for this series and all of the series that we broadcast on Apex Racing TV. SDK Gaming with so many elements that we can display. We've got like the battle box, we've got the timing tower, we've got the track map. So many things and so many fantastic graphics which are shown in various different racing series, but with SDK Gaming you can put them all together and show whichever ones you like. There's loads of customization, great live timing, which really makes our job up in the commentary box a hell of a lot easier. And also, it's great for a heads-up display as well, because it displays all the information you could possibly need for when you're driving. So do check out SDK-gaming.co.uk in order to see if you can get a 14-day free trial. Fletcher this time goes down as being getting very close throughout, but finally he's actually going to pull the trigger. You can see the overspeed that he's got. Fletcher though, holding on, just about kept enough of his car alongside, and he's hanging on to that 5th position. Grebstar's kind of been reluctant to go for a move from what I've seen so far. That's probably the reason why, because it's all held them up quite significantly.
Yeah, seems so. Well, when are we going to get our first pit stops, I wonder? We'll keep you up to date. Of course, I tell you what, heads-up display on the SDK Gaming, Sam, you'd pay about £800 or £900 for that as an optional extra in a BMW.
Yeah, and I'd say the SDK Gaming one is a million times better, so I certainly would recommend.
Indeed. Well, 23 minutes down. Gaten Anger and Kenny Rosen's holding down 2nd and 3rd positions at the moment, and they are not pulling any time into Luke McCohen. In fact, quite the opposite. The Logitech Altus Esports Porsche driver has opened up the gap to 8 seconds over the course of 20 minutes or so. Absolutely extraordinary, and very much in the driving seat. And Sam, I don't think he'll want to get out this groove.
I don't think he will either. He's a very good driver. Is Luke very experienced? I must say, when he signed up for the season, I didn't expect him to be quite this strong. But if only he did the whole season, it'd been absolutely awesome. Has he done? But he's got that qualifying pace of Rusens and maybe the race pace of Anger, and that's a frightening combo. He's going to go for it again here. I think he's as far alongside, so this definitely isn't going to work. Oh no, that was ambitious. That was very ambitious there. I think it was Gafenku who made contact at Dadswell there. So hopefully his son is checking that he's alright, because Tom for Altitude Esports perhaps getting his head in the clouds there before having that.
Oh dear. That is a pity for Tom Dadswell. It's not going to leave a good legacy. Norfolk tumbleweed for you there, folks.
No, well, it's very tricky to be serious when we're genuinely being, in one sense, we're being like quite consulate to him, and in the other sense, we're making fun of his name. But yeah, Lemeray.
This is how legends are built.
Yeah. Go down in memory. Hopefully, you'll sign up for next season also, because I'm sure there's some more great references that we can make. And I'm sure you viewers would absolutely love to hear them all as well. I'm sure you're on the edge of your seat for them. That's why you tune in every week. Lemeray just got past Karagiet. He's still ahead of Wiggins. So sorry, I missed that Kahea then is quite far behind him. Wiggins just put an awesome lap time as Fletcher's into the pit, so Fletcher must have had damage. That very much indicates. I mean, you can see a bit, and he was struggling down the straights, and he did have that off to Vilna, so everything points towards some damage. And Neiman, well, we called it. That's the best strategic call we've ever made, Peter. We thought he'd come into the pits early, and that's what he's done.
Well, we've made lots of strategic calls, just most of them have been wrong. Yeah, indeed. Well, let's see how that's going to play out for Sven Newman. You mentioned Juan Manuel Calleja, Sam. He was T-boned in that incident with Aaron Smith when he made the mistake at Tamburello.
Good spot. I did not catch that one.
He was an innocent party, and I'm sure Aaron will be gutted because it wasn't an attempt at a move. It was just a miss of breaking point, and it bunny hopped over 2 sausage curbs, and that just sent him into a Lamborghini-shaped projectile, sadly. But not to worry, Juan Manuel Calleja does have a decent advantage in the AM Championship, so hopefully he'll be able to recover after that unfortunate incident. So we've got our first couple of drivers into pit lane now, and they'll filter their way back in. Quite a long lap here as well at at Imola. So there's, once things spread out, should be a bit more room for the drivers to settle into the rhythm a bit.
Yeah, and the drivers have been so close to one another so far in this race, particularly the drivers around 10th position, just been nose to tail. So yeah, you're right, once you get a little bit of clean air, then you can get into a rhythm. What you don't want to do, of course, is exit back out into traffic. But I don't think it should be too bad. We've got Turbone versus Fletcher. This is a whip. That's a... Oh, Turbone's off the circuit, dips the wheel onto the grass. And yeah, that's bad news for him. So that was Fletcher and Reagan, I think, right there. So Fletcher now top of the drivers who have come into the pits. That was about to 4th position there. Newman had a slow pit stop. Well, actually, no, Turbone still needs to pit, apologies. So that wasn't 4th position. Turbone still with a pit stop to make because he pitted so early on, he won't get to the end of the race. Newman currently 2nd place, but Lemery and Dadswell, I imagine, will probably come out just ahead of Fletcher, if I've got that one correct.
Yeah, we'll see how that one shakes out. Not long till half race distance here at Imola. We'll see who's going to, at the moment, Luke McCone is absolutely checking out. And you have to think, Sam, that he's going to, well, you think he'll run the tank on that car as dry as he can, because while he's got the clear air in front of him, and maybe he'll come across the odd lap car, but much easier to come across lap cars than it is being back and stuck in traffic.
Yeah, and of course the fastest way, theoretically, to get to the end of the race is to fill up the fuel with maximum fuel at the start of the race, and then go as far as you can, and just as you run out of fuel, you come into the pits and then put the minimum amount of fuel in. So that way you have the least amount of fuel over the course of the race. If you're pitting this early, then you're going to be carrying, say, 40 litres compared to 10 litres that your rivals will be. So the drivers who pit early, they know that they're going to be slower theoretically, but of course if it does get you track position, it can be advantageous. So yeah, I'm sure McKern will go as long as he can. Anger and Reasons will probably go fairly far as well. Maybe Reasons cut down 1 lap just to get the undercuts on Anger if he wants. Gothenku then ahead of Grebstad. So that is a change for 5th position. Those two were very close beforehand, but Gothenku's had excellent pace. Got a podium back at Monza. Hasn't quite been able to replicate that form since. Mainly bad luck, honestly, for Gothenku, and maybe his qualifying as well usually puts him around the 10th position where accidents can happen. But tonight, he is driven very well, and yeah, up into 5th.
Battle going on here for the lead in the AM class. Alan Cargier in the Audi trying to fend off Josh Wiggins in the Lamborghini Huracan. Two cars which share an engine, 5.2 litre V10. They also, the specific brands share an owner, of course, all both part of the Volkswagen Audi group. But there's a common misconception that Lamborghini is just simply a rebodied Audi. It is not. Quite a long time ago, the Lamborghini GT3 used to be, but this Huracan is completely independently developed, and it's that'll test the suspension. Goodness me, must have known we were talking about him.
Don't test the floor as well.
Ouch.
Might have damaged the splitzer as well. Fortunately, he's still got a pit stop to come, so he'll be able to get that fixed. Oh no, Lemery. So Lemery was quite far behind anyway, wasn't he? He a little bit of a longer stop as well. Not too bad for Lemery, but lost kind of 2 or 3 seconds compared to what you'd expect. Top driver once again, Lemery, leading at Red Bull Ring, and then he got a pit lane penalty. He'd cut the white line on pit lane entry, and so he got like a 40-second stop and hold. It ruins any chance of winning the race. Otherwise, he would have at least got 2nd place, maybe even the race wins. So that was a big disappointment for him. But this circuit, which doesn't fancy the BMW nearly as much, he really hasn't quite had the pace all night long, honestly. Although he did have to start from the pits, to be fair, because he picked up a penalty from the previous round. So generally just an awful meeting for Lemery. Hopefully we see him back to top form in the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, not the day for Nolan Lemery, that is for certain. Riding on board at the moment with Kenny Rosens in the Valkyrie BMW. A little bit of lap traffic to deal with there, and Rosens just stalking the back of Gaten Anger's Lamborghini. Now, I wonder if Rosens is playing the game here, Sam, where he's sitting in the wheel tracks of Anger's Lamborghini and just making sure he's nice and conservative on the fuel. I think the win is gone unless Luke McCohen makes a pretty catastrophic mistake. But for second place, Rosens, well, sit here if he wants to. But just as I say that, off he goes. He's gone for the overtake.
Well, I
kind of knew that was going to happen as soon as I started talking about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If we, imagine if we were on Reason's team, we could just curse him to victory, honestly. But no, up to second position, and yeah, Anger kind of waved him past there. Big question now for Anger is that can he keep close? He can't afford to allow Reasons to get more than really half a second away, because that's where the draft effect will start to reduce a bit. Certainly is an advantage to be behind the driver ahead, nice and close. The tow effect is going to be much stronger than the turbulent air effect. So that's what Anger needs to do. Try to save a little bit of fuel. He is usually exceptional fuel. It might just be the Lamborghini for Anger, but he can often pull out that extra lap. So still very much game on between these two.
Yeah, I think Anger is very, very good. I think he was good in Season 1 on the fuel consumption compared to his rivals, but I think the Lamborghini is very good where you can roll off the throttle a little bit more and carry corner speed. It's got such good aerodynamic grip that you can really sort of roll off and not have to use as much gas sort of in and around the corner, whereas the BMW is more of a kind of point and squirt. You brake heavy into it, turn the car, and then get back on the power. McCohen into pit lane now, so leader in pit lane, just on the strike of halfway. Let's see what his rivals do. Ooh, Rosens goes by for one more. Anger into the pits. Interesting.
Now that makes me really surprised that Anger didn't fight that one more, because why didn't he fight to keep behind Reasons behind? Because now, instead of going into the pits half a second ahead, he came into the pits half a second behind. That was like a second loss. I was thinking maybe he was close on fuel, so he wanted to save a bit of fuel, but I'm a bit surprised by that one. But great news for Reasons, and that should be a fairly easy second place, honestly, now, because he'll be able to put in less fuel at his pit stop, and we'll have this lap where he's on very low fuel, where he should be exceptionally quick. So great news for him. He did just have to get past a back marker there. Kahea, I'm sure didn't hold him up too much. One man was a very experienced driver, but no, looking very good for Valkyrie Esports.
Indeed. Well, let's see where this throws Kenny Rosens into the mix. We've seen where he's been so impressive later on in the race as well. When he's had a lead and had clean air, he's just deployed incredible pace. So let's see where Rosens shakes out. Imola is a circuit that is pretty heavy on fuel, because you're slowing, you're having really heavy braking zones and then hard acceleration out of slow corners. So this isn't a circuit where the drivers will be able to keep the fuel consumption down that much. So let's see, is Rosens got one more lap in the tank, or is he able to go two longer than his rivals? I'd be surprised. No, in he comes. So Kenny Rosens slows down to 60 kilometers an hour, hopefully, and comes in to take a splash of fuel and then back out for more action. Now, of course, we must mention the iRacing penalty system. If drivers accumulate 16 incident points, which are given out for extending track limits, spins, and occasionally bumping into other drivers, you do not want to get 16 incident points here, because a drive through at Imola, it's like driving through half of Scotland.
Yeah. Dave Erdan has got a penalty, but the next highest is 10. At the moment, the drivers have been very well behaved. I won't be surprised if we got a couple more by the end of the event. As reasons, here is that long pit lane. And you're right, it does take a while. Not quite as boring as Scotland, but still not great fun, I'm sure, for the drivers. Here he comes. Is Anger going to be behind him? He should be behind him. It's a bit closer than I thought, honestly. Hasn't really extended the gap as much as I thought, but that's about that's 0.55. So I think he probably extended it by about half a tenth there. Did Reasons, and actually Reasons was stationary for 0.2 of a second less than Anger. which again I'm surprised about, because you think he would have had to put one less lap of fuel in, maybe. Although, you know, who knows how close they were to making the extra lap. Maybe Anchor had some spare fuel, maybe Reasons had no fuel spare. But yeah, still very much game on. Anchor's still in the slipstream.
Yeah, and this is game on indeed. And Rosens, I think he's going to be ruining the loss of you know, early on, letting McCohen get away. But this is I'm actually not sure if anyone has got the pace. It's certainly in the race, nobody has been able to come close to the lap times of Luke McCohen. He has been in a whole world of his own.
Crazy, hasn't it? He's been superb. 10.5 seconds ahead would be the biggest winning margin of this season, or at least one of the largest. Speaking of winning, Wiggins is up into the lead. He's got past Karagiet then. So that was during the pit stop sequence. And the reason why he's managed to get ahead was, one, because he went the extra further lap. I don't think that helped him too much, to be fair. But the main reason is because his pit stop was 18.7 seconds long. Karagiet, 22.1. So that's a 3.5 second difference, and the gap is 2.1 seconds. So that's how Wiggins has got ahead. That is very little fuel though. Now, he did save some fuel in the first stint, did Wiggins, but that is still, looking down the order, I think that's the least amount of fuel of anyone, apart from maybe Sven Newman. So he will be tight on fuel. If it does just force out an extra lap, then Wiggins might be in trouble. But at the moment, at least, he's ahead. And also, he still seems to have damage on that car, so I don't think he took the faster pair. Maybe he hasn't got a whole lot of confidence in himself that he won't crash later on, so he's keeping it spare for that. But come on, Josh, you're going for the race win, mate. Should pick up the faster pair, would have maybe given him a bit more pace.
Maybe it's just maybe felt like it wasn't losing any pace. Like, don't change anything. I'm not sure, but wow, game on here at Imola, especially for the AM class battle. Very close between Josh Wiggins and Alan Karagiet. Now, car off there at Villeneuve. Who was that? Oh, okay. Sven Newman
yeah.
Go on.
Sorry. No, I thought I had something to contribute and I didn't.
A great recovery for Sven Newman from an earlier spin, and now up to 9th. However, it's he needs a kind of few more spots if he's going to have any hope of the championship. And Gaten Anger, well, he could just follow Kenny Rosens home to the flag. If he doesn't necessarily need that extra position, he can just sort of sit there and be a bit of a pest and not actually make a move. Doesn't have to take the risk, and that's probably going to be quite frustrating for Rosens, and particularly for Newman, who knows that his chances are slipping through his fingers. And of course, came so close to winning the Apex Racing League GT Championship, but again, missed out at the last moment. He's becoming the Danny Pedrosa of Apex Racing League.
Yeah. He's getting his fair share of near misses. I think he's a super consistent driver, though, as Neiman, to be fair. He's kind of got those high positions via consistency. I know he had the issue at Brands Hatch, he's had a bit of an issue tonight, but I mean, neither of them cost him that bad. You know, he's still able to recover. Oh, no. If he picked up the faster pair, he would have been home and dry with Wiggins. Oh, what's happening here? Because I don't want to be harsh to Josh, but he seems to have misfortune every single round. He's always near the front, at least at the start of the race, and then something goes wrong. I mean, he was leading at Brands Hatch ahead of Karagiet and Kahea.
I actually think he gets into it with a back marker, I think.
That was the 254, I think. Was that Evers again? I'm not sure.
No, I don't think so. But I think it was a car that was a lap down. Maybe. Oh, not sure. But, oh well. Still, Luke McCohen extending his advantage 3 seconds more after the pit stops. Now 11.2 seconds the gap. And like you said, Sam, quite rightly, we have not seen this kind of domination even from Kenny Rosens.
No. And in qualifying, I mean, I guess he was 3/10 below in qualifying, wasn't he? And then he's managed to keep it up in the race. Absolutely incredible. By the way, quick shout out to Virtual Racing School, the sponsor for the series. and also a sponsor as well for Apex Racing TV. Big thanks to them for supporting the championship. Of course, Virtual Racing School offering over 50 data packs on both road and oval sides of racing. And those data packs include setups, track guides, data analysis software, and one-on-one coaching. And of course, all those setups are relevant for the official series. So whichever car you take up, you can get all the relevant setups and stuff for that sort of championship. The data analysis software in particular is really a big credit to Virtual Racing School. It's so useful for being able to identify how to improve your lap times, because you can compare your telemetry to the telemetry of some of the best drivers in the entirety of sim racing. And so you can really identify where you're losing time. And of course, if you want to find out a little bit more, you can go hire a coach and have an hour session with them. And yeah, really get to the bottom of how to find those extra few tenths out on the race circuit. So do check out Virtual Racing School. There'll be a link in the description below. And big thanks to them for helping us out on Apex Racing TV. Fletcher's catching up to Gribstad, so that damage for Fletcher, I didn't realise it was costing him that bad. But remember, Gribstad caught some past Fletcher earlier on, and now it looks like it's going to happen the other way now.
It could well do, yeah. Of course, Fletcher very much on the recovery after a bit of a mistake earlier, and you could tell him there he's fighting a little bit of understeer coming into the now I've forgot the name of that, Ravazza. That's it. It sounds like a fancy pizza shop, that corner.
Yeah, I've never agreed more with a statement in my life. You're absolutely right, and I would go there as well.
Do like a good pizza.
I mean that would be well. If we know, if Apex go into the pizza business, then because like pizza slices are a bit of an Apex, aren't they? I mean, that could be totally, that could be our logo. Oh, that's our logo, isn't it? We got the logo, we got the name. Wow, just need pizzas now.
They go, why is it called Ravazza? We'll say, well, come in and sit some laps, and then you when there's a sim in there, and it's only Imola that's on it. You can only do Imola.
And all the pizzas are named after different corners.
Oh,
that's similar as well. So we've got Toaster, we've got Villeneuve.
Aqua
Villeneuve maybe isn't the very tasty one. I don't know, maybe.
Aqua Minerale. No, that could be the one with like artichokes and stuff on it.
Yeah.
He has, or eggplant, since he had purple hair. What else could we have? Aqua Minerale, that's like... those could be like the vegan ones, or the non-alcoholic cocktails.
Well, it could even just be like whenever people want water at the table, they have, can I have a bottle of water? I don't know what that means, mate. Do you mean Aqua Minerale? It's on,
like,
it's on the menu.
That. You mean frozen Aqua Minerale?
Yeah.
This is too good an idea. And you can only select a Lamborghini or a Ferrari.
Yep.
That's true. I said that we're onto something here. Do you know there's going to be a hipster in Shoreditch? Listen to this right now, Sam, and nabbing our idea as we speak.
Exactly. Yeah. When a trendy London restaurant opens up, we'll be quite annoyed about all that. Sharing our ideas. I think we did see Winkler, by the way, pass Ankerson on the last lap. Apologies, we were kind of brainstorming whilst that happened, but he has passed up to 30th. He was down to 20th place earlier on, was Winkler, but he's recovered well. Wow, that's unusual place to pass. Wow, that's Leon Penn passed Engel. Not an easy customer to pass.
Great move there from Leon Penn. He really went in there, and Engel went, oh, okay. After you then, sir. Well, Engel is means an angel in German. And do you know why I found that out? The Opel Manta, the Foxtail Manta at the Nürburgring, was involved in a crash with the HRT Mercedes in the Nürburgring 24-hour this year, and it was Maro Engel driving. And the name of this article that I read was called "Struck Down by an Angel."
That's up there with your headlines, Pizza.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Road America Rollick.
Well, I mean, that's another treasure trove of of puns
Alliteration.
we can use, so thanks for that. There was an off there for, was it Reagan? Just went up the circuit, so yeah, very far from the track. Over at Villeneuve. Fletcher's starting to struggle to really make much of an impression. I mean, he hasn't got the damage that he had earlier on, but he's still not really got any overspeed on Grebstad, who's got a good setup, very raceable setup. Bremer is also off the track. Oh, that's a long way off. That's Acomeno Raleigh there. Ooh,
Yes,
brave
oh,
curved.
that's maybe a bit too brave.
That's
Oh.
Penn again.
He actually, you could see what Liam Penn was doing there. He actually did come out the throttle to let Ankerson carry on. That's good sportsmanship. Oh, where's he from? Scotland? Oh, that's hardly a surprise there.
I must say, going from that far back, writing a suicide note there. And that's a bit of a pun.
We're nothing if not. We're certainly we're triers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah,
Ambitious, but rubbish.
maybe a bit more thought could have gone into that one.
So that's where Top Gear, they stole it from us. The ambitious but rubbish tagline. That's just Scotland in most things, not in all things. Certainly not in motor racing. We're good at that. So, 11 and a half minutes to go here at Imola, and Luke McCone is in control of this motor race. Kenny Rosen's in second, who in turn has actually dropped Gaten Anger quite considerably. But Gaten Anger, this is he's done the hard work early on in the season, and he can cruise it home from here, Sam, for yet another podium, and strengthening his position at the top of the championship. In fact, he might actually increase the number of points he's ahead by, because of course Newman came into this round in second.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Reasons will probably move up to second now, but yeah, that gap in the championship will increase. Some amazing news for Anker. He really just needs to finish the last couple of rounds, and I'm sure he'll do that and more. As Fletcher at the corner that he went off earlier on has had another bit of an off. This time he doesn't pick up any damage, but it does allow Nikola Javic to get past, who's been under the radar a bit as the Serbian, as he has been for most of the season, honestly. Then race is over. But no, he's been very quick tonight, so Nikola Javic might get 6th place. Does seem to have a more raceable car than Fletcher, so I think he'll have a bad chance. And Gavin Russell is also off the track. Lots of spins in the closing stages of this race, and that's a very awkward place to try to rejoin. I thought that was at Variante Alta, but now it's actually at Piratella. And he's got to do a pirouette in order to get back onto the circuit from there.
The GT3 cars are a bit tricky to do a pirouette unless you've got a button that switches the traction control off quickly, because you try to do a flick turn and it just sort of groans at you. It's just like, no, don't be stupid, no.
Yeah, I'd recommend anyone who drives the GT3 cars or any car with traction control, honestly, yeah, have a quick switch which you can turn off the traction control, because when you're in a situation like that, it is an absolute godsend.
Because you will just go in a sort of very kind of low grown circle. You won't actually break traction because the computer won't let you. It'll just think you're being silly. Now, in terms of the AM class race, Juan Manuel Calleja, this is a great recovery, because nothing he could have done. He was carrying on, minding his own business, and poor old Aaron Smith bundles onto the scene at Tamburello, and he's not let it get him down. He'd taken quite a lot of damage in that incident, but carried on, and now third in the AM class. He's gone past Jason Hodgson now, just by a couple of tenths, and this again would solidify Calleja's position at the top of the AM championship points.
This might actually be Hodgson trying to get past Calleja. I'm not quite sure. He was faster on that last lap. Yeah, it was Hodgson who was faster on the last lap, so I think he's actually the one closing the gap. As Torres is now off the circuit. Puerto Rican driver. Hodgson wasn't able to make that move then, heading down into turn 1, so he just had to stay behind. By the way, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hopefully you've enjoyed the broadcast from good racing to the great business ideas. certainly enjoyed it up here. Certainly one of the rounds of the championship. I think, despite the fact that we haven't had a battle for the race win exactly, it's been terrific all the way through the rest of the order. Of course, if you have enjoyed this broadcast, leave a like on the video, subscribe to Apex Racing TV, check out all of our other streams. As Anger's moved up into second place. Gosh, what's happened there? Oh, Reasons has been held up, I think. I think he's come together with a back marker, and now he's got to do it all over again.
Okay, well, that development with 7.5 minutes to go here at Imola. Let's have a look then. So Get Anger coming onto the scene. Rosen's...
He was already quite slow, was Reasons.
Well, I think that oh dear, Rosens has been incredibly unlucky there. The poop, I don't know who that was in the Ferrari, but goodness me, they got themselves into a heck of a muddle. They weren't really sure how they were letting through and just drove in the mirrors a bit. But oh, that's huge for the championship. Sven Newman is off. Now, who was that who he collided with? Oh. Now, is Nikola Jevic what Get Anger's teammate?
Oh, can I hear a tinfoil hat being put on your head?
No, I'm just saying it might cause extra... oh, okay.
Who was that in front of them? Was it? It was Fletcher just in front of them, I think. Or was it Grebstad? Maybe Grebstad, actually. We're all kind of moving left and right and all over the place. Here we go. Might need to pull some strokes here, Anger, if he's going to hold on to this place. He basically let past Reasons earlier on, and he's going to let him past once again, I think. Yeah, early on the brakes. Doesn't need it.
He's defenseless on the straight.
Yeah, and Rosen's up to an easy second once again, so despite that back marker going in the way, he's still going to take home that second place, but it's meant the gap is now up to 16.5 seconds to the race leader.
Well, McCohen, I've not seen domination like this for quite some time in any Apex Racing League competition. It's extraordinary. And it, of course, took the gap early and just pulled away 10th by 10th, lap by lap. And yeah, he's been immaculate in that Porsche 911 GT3 R, resplendent in Logitech Altus Esports colours. Certainly an eye-catching paint scheme. Will not miss that car on the grid.
Yeah, because we've got his teammate, whose name escapes me all of a sudden. He did win a race yesterday, 2 days ago, sorry, in the Apex Racing League GT Championship. And also very successful as well in the AOSC Championship, down under, the Supercar Series. They were a very successful team in that, so they happen to have them around in AOL. Not sure if many of the other drivers are, because they are, they do seem to be raking in the race wins wherever they are.
Yeah, one of the top World Championship level teams, actually, Logitech Altus Esports. Of course, Bo Albert, who races for that team, racing in the World Rallycross Championship. But next season, he's going to have to get through the mighty Dane Baird, isn't he?
I mean, I wouldn't want that challenge.
No.
Dane is a driver.
That who likes mixed surface racing.
Yeah, he is. Okay, well, I can say this about Dane. He's better on rallycross than he is on road.
True. I mean, he couldn't even overtake me on road. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean...
Mind you, it was like watching a fly trying to overtake a hippo. In a very narrow corridor. He just sort of kept flying into the back. He did hit me a couple of times, but I wasn't going to be intimidated. I do love it. I think I maybe talk about that more than your BSR Winter Radical Series Championship, Sam.
Well, yeah, I did bring it up on Friday. I would just say that.
In a radical race.
In a radical race. I was encouraged by my... Oh, no, Kahea. Oh, what you've done. That's off the circuit. I believe he was still in third position out of the amateurs. Yeah, he was. So this is Hodgson just behind now. Did Hodgson... Well, I think this is the last lap, actually. Oh, no. Sorry. Oh, Bay lost where we were. I thought we were at Tosa. But no, there he goes. And that was a tap from Hodgson. And I wonder if Kahea will report that to the stewards.
he will be very angry about that if that's the case. So 3 minutes to go, and well, it's we're more or less sealed up in for the overall lead. But Gaten Anger is not letting Kenny Rosens get away. There's just 0.3 of a second of difference last time by. They're about half a second difference at the moment. And this battle between Leon Pend and Anders Ankerson been fantastic. I tell you what, Ankerson, he's good on the brakes.
Yeah. He's he's had to be in order to keep behind Penn, because Penn has been all over the back of him. Of course, both in Porsches, they'll have different setups on, of course, but most likely similar characteristics out there. And Penn has not been able to make too much of an impression. Might be an opportunity here. That's kind of the distance he came back from about 10 minutes ago when he had that collision through the first chicane. This time he thinks much better of it, and just stays behind. Doesn't want to lose any places to the cars behind, because they're all fairly bunched up really from about 10th position down to 20th. Only about 10 seconds separating all of them. So if you do have an off, then you can lose a lot of places if you're around that range. That was Perry just holding off Hereford, I think, as well. Smarts and Perry, whatever championship they're in, you can't seem to separate these two.
No, you can't. They're having a great ding-dong here, and Tim Perry in the BMW M4, the front-engine machine, and Kieran Smart in the mid-engined Audi for raced for the Track Scotland team in the LMP2 Wave Italy Championship. I noticed the Track Scotland sponsored Subaru Impreza racing in Superlap Scotland and Scottish Motorsports a few weeks ago at Knockhill. It's quite a machine with the four-wheel drive. My goodness me, it makes pretty short work of the front straight at Knockhill, whether it be wet or dry. So on to the final lap then. Luke McCohen in control, but second place is far from over, and it's a tap from behind for Gaten Anger to Kenny Rosens, and Anger is going to let Rosens have it. Good sportsmanship there. And
still going after him though, isn't he?
Yeah, they'll do it again, that's for sure. But just a little unlucky there, just a little tap to the back of Rosens' car. But good respect from the drivers to carry on again. Scratched the paintwork on that Valkyrie BMW though.
Yeah, you'll be glad that he doesn't have to go down the front stretch again, because I'm sure that'll compromise his straight line speed. Spence just got up to 14th place, but yeah, there's no doubt about the man in the lead.
Absolutely not. Luke McCohen comes to the checkered flag then here at Imola, winning by a historically large margin. And he wins for Logitech, Altus Esports and for Porsche. We'll wait now for Kenny Rosens. Can he hold off Gaten Anger? Looks like he's vanquished the Frenchman. Indeed he has. Kenny Rosens will be your second place driver, with Gaten Anger in third, flashing his lights behind. But that's job done for Anger. He's got a nice, healthy increase to his championship advantage, and it's going to be tough now for either Rosens or Newman to catch him. But in the AM class, a lovely drive for an Audi for Alan Carigier, Sam.
Yeah, there was, by the way, there was some other stuff going on as well. Further down the road, Nikola Jovic has managed to pass Winkler right at the end. And I think there was an issue for Penn, I think. Or Ankerson, sorry. Ankerson dropped down to 20th place at the end. There goes Engel. Oh, Engel managed to get past Penn as well. So Engel gains 2 places on the last lap. I don't think he needs to do a whole lot for it, but that was absolutely craziness right at the end there. And yeah, Ankerson are very disappointed, 20th place. But yeah, here is Carigier. He needed something pretty spectacular in order to bring himself into the championship hunt. He'll get a few cars between himself and Carigier. Certainly still not the favourite is Carigier, but that's a great effort for the Swiss driver. He takes the amateur race win, and that was a satisfying way for him to win as well, getting that extra lap. Pretty much a pride, because he was so far clear. Just Wiggins and Hodgson, the only 2 other amateurs on the same lap in the end. There's McCohen, very satisfied with that one. still has fuel as well to lap round on this in-lap to the pits, I think. But no, you were right there, Peter. A historic margin of victory. Sure, the two behind him were fighting quite a bit, which held them up, but he was a country mile ahead of the rest now.
He really was, yeah. We just do not see that level of dominance very often, and Luke McCohen thoroughly deserves that victory. Really imperious, and to drive at a circuit like Imola flawlessly for an hour at a much faster pace than his rivals. Very, very well done indeed. And looks like that fuel you were mentioning, Sam, may well be coming to its end. He's on the last cup or two.
Yeah, he put a fair amount of fuel in as well, but I mean, the faster you drive, the more fuel you tend to use. So not a huge surprise that he's running out.
Unless you're Scott Dixon.
Yes, yes. I don't really understand that reference. You'll have to explain it to me.
Scott Dixon, 6-time IndyCar champion, but also very good at fuel saving.
Aha, okay, cool. I was thinking more of Rossi when he ran out of fuel on the last lap at Indy 500 and basically coasted home to the win. By the way, quick shout out before we go to the results to Apex Racing Academy. You also sponsor the championship, also offer some great prizes as well. 1-year subscription to the top drivers in the professional and the amateur championships, and also the teams championship as well. Are some prizes being handed out by Apex Racing Academy, and they provide 29 data packs that covers road racing and also rallycross racing as well. And yeah, they offer some setups and tutorials, group coaching sessions, really everything you need in order to get a little bit faster on iRacing, and also some fantastic setup sync technology as well. Makes the whole software a lot more easy to use. So big thanks to them for helping us out on Apex Racing TV.
You can even get one-on-one coaching as well with some World Championship level drivers, which is quite cool as well. And it's amazing what good coaching can do. I mean, to get your speed up, you just it's like a different sport altogether when you get the chance to get some proper instruction. Well, it's been a strong day for, well, it's been a successful day for Gate Nanger. There's been a couple of little wobbles along the way, Sam, but the Frenchman, he's looking in good position to claim a second Apex Racing League GT Trophy Championship, and to be the only man then, of course, that would be 2 from 2.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other two-time champions. I think maybe Kev Copeland has won 2 championships in the amateur category, though. Also a bunch of top 3s as well. Probably the most successful driver in ARL history, and I am friends with Kev, so I do have to. I'm obligated to say that. But I think Gaten is a bit faster. Kev, I think he'll admit that one. So no, he'll enter a fairly exclusive club. Also, Tom McMahon actually is another good one, who's won back-to-back titles in the Apex Racing League GT Championship in the GTEs. But apart from that, I don't think anyone's ever taken back-to-back pro titles. So yeah, that would be an absolutely huge deal if he could consolidate this one. And I mean, his worst round this season was Red Bull Ring. I think he finished 6th in that race. And that's by far his worst of the season. I think he's only finished outside the podium places on a couple of occasions. So absolutely mighty, and just doing everything that he needed to do tonight as well. So another 41 points sewn up, and that championship lead will be about 20 points or probably close to 30 points heading into the final 2 races of the season.
Well, indeed, 2 races to go here in the Apex Racing League GT Trophy. And yeah, can Kenny Rosens catch Gate Nanger? It's going to be a big ask, but if anyone can do it, Kenny Rosens can. You can join myself, Peter Mackay, and Sam Fitzpatrick here on Apex Racing League TV the same time next Tuesday. That's the 20th of July at 8 p.m. UK time, 7 p.m. GMT. We'll be delighted to have your company. We hope you enjoyed this broadcast here on Apex Racing TV, and we hope you have a good evening.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.